Hi everyone, welcome to Miss Adams Teaches Poetry. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Mary Casey's poem, The Class Game. I'm just going to run through the content of the poem, a little bit about contextual factors you need to be aware of, and a couple of notes on form. There will be another video coming your way that's going to take you through 5 key quotes that will be fully explained, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But for now, get your flashcards ready and let's get started. Okay, so what is this poem all about? The Class Game, funnily enough, you can tell from the title, is about class division, set up in the north of England in Liverpool, the late 1970s. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about context in a moment, but really the poem is about someone demanding, I suppose, to know how can you tell what class I'm from, and then goes on to kind of list, I suppose, a number of stereotypes surrounding class difference and class division. And this question, how do you know what class I'm from, is used as a sort of a repeated refrain right until the end, where the last time she asks a question, she says, "Why do you care what class I'm from?" And that really is what the poem is all about. It's about saying, well, hang on a minute, why do we have class distinction? Why is it important to you? And it's almost like, by calling it the class game, it's almost suggesting that it is a competition in some way, that people use it to kind of establish rules and boundaries. So contextually, this is quite interesting, the poem, because the poet herself, Mary Casey, this poem of hers was published in 1979, just before she died, actually. She died in 1980. But she was not a published poet. It was not her career. She was a housewife from Liverpool, working class background, and her poem was actually published in a literary magazine called Voices that was very much interested in publishing the kind of real world reflections of the working classes. So she wrote 4 poems, and all 4 of them got published in this magazine, and that's why we have the Class Game in our anthology today. So the other contextual factor to be aware of is when we're talking. So we're talking 1979. That is actually the year that Margaret Thatcher became Prime Minister, which is thought to have been the kind of signpost, or the signal of the beginning of the winter of discontent. It's worth having a little look at the context surrounding Margaret Thatcher, but the most important thing to be aware of is that her time led to a recession with very, very, very high unemployment rates, but particularly in the north of the country, places like Liverpool, there was a lot of difficulties with the unions, lots and lots and lots of confrontation. And in this period of time, you've got the working class, the poor, struggling to make ends meet, with the higher classes actually receiving benefits like tax cuts. So it's actually, you know, that people kind of look at this period of time under Margaret Thatcher's rule as a time of class war. And so it's particularly fitting that this poem was produced. Okay, so quick look at form. So this is a dramatic monologue, okay, first person narrative, and you've got this real kind of sense of direct address, and that's what gives it its kind of confrontational tone. I say confrontational, but if you can have light-hearted confrontation, I would say that's what it is. Sorry about the light, I'm being blinded. I'm having to just keep my face in the position of the window, so sorry about the weirdness of this. Any hoodles. So what we have, it's interesting because you could look at this at first glance and go, oh, is that in free verse? But then you'll realise that by about line 5 here, we actually start moving into rhyming couplets, okay? The first 5 lines, not so much. And what is interesting is that you've got these first 5 lines that almost like set up the issue. And then we have caesura. And then the rest of, almost the rest of, not everything, but if you notice from this point, it's like this series of questions that are all throughout the stanza, that are all about challenging perceptions. So the use of kind of listed questions helps to challenge attitudes of the time. So that's a nice bit of form analysis for you. And just like I said in the earlier, on the earlier slide, you've got this repeated refrain. How can you tell what class I'm from? So you can see it there, okay, you can see it there again, back here, and then the final one why do you care what class I'm from? So the refrain is repeated and then amended to hit the point of the poem. Bit of form and structure analysis for you. There is a video coming your way with 5 key quotations analysed fully and explained, so do keep an eye out for that. This one was just to take you through the context and the form. I hope it was helpful. If it was, do give me a subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Otherwise, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching.